I'm not going to keep this hat on for long because it won't fit my headphones. And my arms are already getting tired.
Marek Robinson.
She answered the question. She said no, so then I went, okay.
And Phil Tremblay.
Nebraska could disappear off
know
the
it's in
face
the
of
States,
the
but
earth,
where's
and it would not
Nebraska?
affect me any.
Grab a seat because the show starts right now.
Welcome back, Coast to Coast. We have a lot to talk about today. How you guys doing?
Do you want the real answer? Or do you want the
That's
Phyllis sleepy answer?
it's good to see.
What are you not sleepy?
There's been a few shows that have been pretty good. There's been a few shows that have been pretty
Okay.
sound.
I think there's
Today
one.
is not one of them. I'm
We should
tired. I've been
probably-
at work all day.
Just before heading into our first topic, let's get the elephant out of the room.
Yeah, this is a Bauer jersey.
Yeah, sure. So,
is not.
obviously,
This is an Adidas jersey
So how
that I
about-
got for free.
so if we go to the back, you can. There's now a.
Let's
reason.
go. I definitely just hit my mic on my chin, but that's okay.
I'm always curious about those jerseys because
They're
like,
always free. It's funny.
Well, I'm always curious.
Well, I got it
'cause,
from
like,
work.
On the back logo, like typically the Adidas is a lot tighter to the collar than that one, so I'm curious.
This was one of the who would have been the sponsor, Original 16, or Mount Rushmore gave it to my work, and then at our Christmas party, all the jerseys that we didn't give away, we did like a deal or no deal kind of thing, and
That's
I
kinda
got
cool.
a jersey.
Deal or No Deal Island?
Yeah,
So,
great show.
gonna
It's
head-
way too big for me, so I'm already ready for more lesbian comments on TikTok, but bring it.
Fair enough.
Good start.
So I was given about 30 seconds to think of a funny segue into this. So the Washington Capitals spent some of their capital on buying CapFriendly, the website, or more specifically, their algorithm.
You can tell that you only got like 15, 30 seconds to figure
Yeah.
that one out.
Dude, it like, took a while. Okay?
I would have just jumped on like Capital, CapFriendly.
He did that.
Well, no,
I'll
but like,
give him that.
No, but I was.
I had between like here to the stairs. To keep that in mind.
It's funny, I just Googled Washington Capitals Cap Friendly, and the first thing that comes up
Is
is
the story?
Washington Capitals Cap Friendly page.
Okay, well, yeah.
So
Which
for
is funny.
So for those who don't know, earlier today, the Washington Capitals bought the website CapFriendly, which was used for looking at cap space for all NHL teams. They were trade, like you could make
Mock trades.
as well as you can see when players' contracts ended, how much they made, and it was a good way to figure out like if that team was looking upwards for the future or downwards in the future in terms of like monetary value. I would say.
I don't get it. Maybe you guys get it a little bit more. I just don't understand what the value is of this company to a team that is being promoted by the company. Like, I just don't get it. Like the company,
Like the importance of the website, or what don't you get?
like how is the Washington Capitals are a hockey team.
They are.
Their main goal is to win hockey games.
It is.
How in the world is buying CapFriendly going to make them win more hockey games?
So the people at CapFriendly are incredibly smart.
Well, yeah.
Incredibly smart. When it comes to the cap, when it comes to kind of working with like conditional picks, or like the really in the weeds parts of any cap stuff.
So are they
They're-
going to just take all these employees and throw them in the war room? Like,
Probably.
I guess.
Well,
that,
I imagine they'd probably take maybe 2 or 3,
The top
and then
guys.
Yeah, and then whoever's under them. I'm not sure how big CapFriendly is. It might just be like 20 guys, or 20 people. Sorry, but they might just take like 3 or 4 of them, and then just let go of the rest of them. I would think maybe.
And the other part is they said that they're going to shut down the website itself.
Yeah,
Because they'll
So
have
in July.
they'll have confidential like team information. Also, someone just tweeted. I still think someone from the Capitals bought CapFriendly, needing the domain name, and figured it'd be cheaper and easier this way. Which I think is kind of funny.
Actually, that's not a bad.
Maybe that's the name of
either.
the charity, CapFriendly.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Actually, that's a great point. Shout out to that Twitter user. That's a great point. I didn't even consider
Shout
that.
out to Anthony.
Either way, obviously, they're pretty smart people in that website. I just don't understand shutting it down. Also, because there's ad revenue to be taken in from that website. It's obviously a pretty frequently visited website. I know we all use it when we're looking at trades and stuff.
I use it multiple times throughout the podcast.
And it's a big resource for fans that now is going to be gone because of this acquisition.
Well,
so maybe it's an opportunity for another company to come out and take that space, because that space is going to be needed. Like, someone's going to need to take care of that.
Puckpedia's already there.
Yeah, fair enough.
There's already a backup website. Puckpedia.
Sponsor us.
Sure.
Yeah, dude.
So
That'd be sweet. We won't buy you.
One thing I used CapFriendly for was to
We
look
don't
at.
have the money.
No.
One thing I used CapFriendly for, like for what I used it for, was to look at people's contracts. Especially, I was really interested in looking at how much the Edmonton Oilers are overpaying a specific person.
Is that your segue into the finals talk?
It's been.
Fair enough. I like that segue.
Sure.
And
Who
that
is that
specific person is
The medic, Darnell Nurse.
Darnell Nurse. Oh boy.
The doctor.
Oh boy.
So I think
Darnell
before
Nurse.
deep diving into Nurse himself, I think Game 1 was
Game 1. Can we
Stanley
talk about how
Cup final.
sweet it is to have a Canadian to hear the Canadian national anthem before a Stanley Cup final? And can I say the Florida Panthers singer did a way better job of the Canadian
Than
national
Dallas?
anthem than Dallas.
Dallas
singer did.
ruined it.
Dallas did not do great.
No.
Felt like I was back in Lethbridge again. I don't know if you all remember that
I
story.
do. Oh, yeah.
But
the old lyrics.
the
Yeah,
Rob
yeah.
lyrics.
I couldn't even remember the old lyrics to the top of my head.
I know it sounded really weird hearing them.
No, I bet it did. Oh, yeah.
Because it's been what, like 4 years since that changed?
Something like that.
Anyway,
It was definitely, I think it was just before a pandemic.
yeah, something like that.
So like 5 years probably.
If not during the
If
pandemic.
not, yeah.
But so great job, Florida Panthers. You sang the anthem right.
There were a couple amazing anthem singers across the
There are
league.
some great ones, and I think Calgary has one of the better.
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
a little
Absolutely.
biased there, but
Well,
I think,
my mom took a picture with him.
Shout out Michaela Sheedy.
oh, that's not who I was thinking.
I know. That's the joke.
Oh,
So Game 1 ended not in you could say Canada's favor if you think.
I mean, I liked how it ended.
fair. Well,
yeah.
Just copy
it did
paste
not
3
end
more
in
times.
Edmonton's favor as the Edmonton Oilers lost 3-0 to the Florida Panthers, or more or less lost to a brick wall in Bobrovsky.
They also lost 2-0 on the backs of Nurse and Cece.
Yeah, so just getting
Disastrous pairing.
So obviously the main takeaway that people are going to look at when seeing a 3-0 score is the goaltending. Bobrovsky faced 32 shots and no goals, obviously. They had 3 power plays. And what I think people forget with Florida is they have the Selke winner in Alexander Barkov, which for some people who don't know what the Selke Award is, it's the best defensive forward. And if you watch that game, you saw Barkov. When you saw McDavid, you saw Barkov.
Yeah.
If McDavid had the puck, Barkov was just like, nope, give me.
Are you surprised by that though? Like,
Not
No.
even remotely.
like your top guy defending their top guy, like, oh.
True, but
What
like
a
usually when you
surprise.
say
That's
usually
crazy.
when you think of like a top defenseman, you think of a top player to stop McDavid. You don't think of a forward. You think of what?
I don't think of Florida.
No, I think
Didn't
of
Barkov
I think of
win the
Colorado.
thing that was best defensive?
Selke. Yeah.
the
No,
Selke,
we touched,
Kinda just
touched
said
on that.
Yeah.
Because usually when you think of like defensemen shutting McDavid down, it's the first name that comes to my mind at least is Makar.
Yeah.
Like from 2 years ago when they made it to the conference
But
final.
that's why Barkov won the Selke.
Yeah, he's.
Like that kind of just proves that he
they just
deserved
shut
that
out
trophy.
they shut out the power play. Edmonton had nothing going.
Which is something that none of the last few teams have been able to do.
Credited to Edmonton as well as they stopped Florida. There's no special team goals, except an empty net, obviously.
Which isn't special teams, but
Okay, well, you know
Sure.
what? Not to be technical.
so I was
count
curious earlier today, and I looked up the defensive pairing that was on the ice for the specific defensive pairing that was on the ice for the most goals throughout the playoffs. Nurse Cece.
There's CC.
Nurse Cece. They've played 18 games together according to moneypuck.com. They're on the ice together for 12 goals against.
Nurse is minus 15 over 9.
Which is
games.
almost an NHL record.
Nurse and Cece have been on the ice for about a quarter of the total goals against.
So I also want to touch on this is that Skinner has that game had a .882. Obviously Bobrovsky was perfect in the shutout. Those 2 goals, not his fault. I would say. First one, perfect 3-man passing play, and the second one, as a defenseman, one of the main things you were taught, like from the beginning, is to look at the chest.
Keep your stick on the ice.
Keep your stick on the ice. Look at the guy's chest, and don't get lost looking at the puck. Darnell Nurse just loves looking at pucks because it went right past him and right to a very wide open Evan Rodriguez who makes no mistake and just pots it into the net.
I'm not going to disagree with your point of that goal being entirely on Nurse. I do want to point out that I saw this Instagram reel either that night or earlier today, because the game was last night, earlier today, where someone said, okay, so what was Skinner supposed to do?
In what goal?
The second one, the Nurse one.
You're looking back, so your puck's behind the net.
Yep.
You're looking backwards, and then you have to push yourself up, and then, he's right there.
He didn't push himself up though.
Yeah, well, you have to react.
Yeah,
It's all human instinct. Like I know people were mad during the goal when it was in the Sweden Ottawa versus Red Wings.
Yeah.
When Tim Stützle hit it out of midair, and then I don't remember who was in net for.
Optimus Rhyme.
I don't know what.
James Reimer.
James Reimer, that's his name. I was gonna say Jonathan Bernier. That's a throwback to a Toronto Maple Leafs, but he ducked, which is a human instinct.
So okay, let's focus on one game at a time.
But you could argue this is he's got no time to think. All he's got to do is basically be like wall. He's got to just be big, be a wall, but he can't. Because Evan Rodriguez, the moment he gets the puck, it gets off right away.
Well, where I was going with that is, okay, let's say Nurse had a stick on the ice and somehow the pass finds a way through anyway.
That would have been such an easy one for Nurse to stop.
Oh, absolutely. If his stick is down, it hits his blade. But let's just say hypothetically that Nurse is playing it correctly. He didn't. But let's say that he did, and the pass just finds his way through. What you would want Skinner to do is push out a little bit. Just be a little bit bigger in his net, because his ankles were on his goal line.
True, but also that's how you're supposed to play when the puck's behind the net. You are relying on the fact that your defenseman is supposed to block that pass and cover Rodriguez in that situation.
Yeah, but
that doesn't happen because he has a split second to go. Whoa, puck's out.
But if there's a pass up front, you're supposed to push off, you're not supposed to push across.
I don't know if he had time to push off.
Rodriguez got it on the stick.
Again, I'm not saying like this is on Skinner. I'm saying there's real that just said, okay, I understand Nurse was the main culprit. What could Skinner have done though?
Not much.
Not much. I'm not saying
he got lucky.
Yeah, I'm just saying.
He could have gotten just as lucky on that one.
I'm just saying if he pushed out as opposed to across, maybe his shoulder gets it a bit, and then it glances off. But no, that goal is entirely on Nurse.
I don't think this game is on Skinner at all. I think, but I also don't think it's on the Oilers forwards. I think they did exactly what they were looking to do. It's on the defenseman. You look at the shots and goals. Sorry, Marek. You look at the shots and goals, 32-18, and some of them were grade A chances. If you have, we talked about it before the show. There's maybe 3 other goalies that we could name that if they played this game, or if it was anyone except those 4, that pool of 4 goalies, Oilers win that game. And that was
basically
Bob,
saying if your
that was Shesterkin, that was Swayman, and Hellebuck on a good day.
Yeah, Hellebuck when his defense is helping him.
I just learned this. So looking at ice time, Bouchard's played almost 10 minutes more than anyone else. Obviously power plays, etc.
Yep.
But there's only 2 defensemen who have a even plus minus, and that is Brett Kulak and Broberg. Which I think that's the 3rd pairing. Or is that the 2nd? But
that would probably be the 3rd.
I think that's kind of interesting to look at as if that's considered your worst. Well, obviously it's not the worst defensive pairing. We kind of know who it is. But that's a positive. If you're Edmonton, that's a positive to look at. That your 2 defensemen, who aren't necessarily your Bouchard or your Ekholm, are still playing decent defense. It's a good way to look at it.
Oh, absolutely.
It also doesn't help that McDavid's on for a -2, Draisait's on for a -1, and Hyman's also on for a -2.
It's so tough to say things because every time I said something about the Edmonton Oilers, about how Dallas was going to smoke them, Vancouver, they're going to struggle against Vancouver, they came back and proved me wrong. So you know what? I know I'm wearing a Kachuk jersey right now.
That is their 3rd pair.
I don't think this series is over. Obviously,
No.
it's only been one game.
Absolutely not.
I think the Oilers showed
You did everything
the
right.
exact amount of fight that they needed to show, especially on the offensive side of the red line. I think that we're in for at least 4 more very exciting hockey games.
I think
At least 3.
I'm saying at least 4.
I think next game is going to be rough.
For-
If Florida leaves their arena with 2 wins,
Then I'm going to say
I think
gonna,
Edmonton might be in trouble.
See, here's the thing. I'm going to be in Edmonton for Game 6 because that's just when my vacation is. I'm excited, but I'm also terrified because if they lose the Stanley Cup in Game 6, I'm going to be like, oh no, hunker down,
That city's going to be on fire.
lockdown.
So we were
Luckily, we'll be in Sherwood Park and not quite in Alberta.
Yeah.
But if they win in Game 6, I'll see you guys downtown.
So we were talking about Bobrovsky a little bit when we were just planning the show, and we couldn't exactly find the graphic, but we saw it on Sportsnet, where it was all the goals in this playoffs that Bobrovsky has let in. And just off the top of my head, these aren't exact numbers. It was, I believe, 16 on the high glove, 15 on high blocker, and then low pads were like within 4 to 8 roughly. 5-hole was 0.
Yeah.
All 3, was it 3 breakaways that Edmonton had or 2? I know Janmark had 1.
Nuge had 1.
Nuge had 3, and Henrique. All of them shot pads. So I don't know. Obviously, you're going to do film. Film's a big part in sports.
Yep.
Surely that's a message, because especially for Henrique and
Was this just in
Hopkins,
that one game, or was this
That's all
overall
playoffs.
through playoffs?
But
yeah.
like, if you're like watching that at film, you're kind of thinking, I got to shoot high. Obviously,
Yeah.
with Janmark's, he had a guy right on him, so that's all the shot he could get off. So I'm not gonna like criticize that. But like Henrique was gone. Henrique had the moon and the stars of space, and he still went for pads. And it's like, if you looked at film, you should
would
kind of have
know.
an
You should
understanding
know.
that shoot
Not even
high.
film, just
Yeah,
publicly
just watch-
available
I was
statistics
gonna say,
that
just
are
watch the game.
broadcast.
You just watch the first 10 minutes, and I guarantee you'll find that graphic.
Yeah.
Like it's,
I'm trying to fast forward to the game here. Was it after the first goal?
well, yes, obviously, because the first goal was in like the first minute. But yeah,
It was. Well,
I
the
was
first 4
also a
minutes.
little distracted
also
during the game.
playoff
so.
for Hagee. Whoa,
Stupid good, especially in like the
He's
first
fir-
game apparently.
He's first in
Too
like
many
every.
H's in his name, but I agree.
He's first in like every stat in like playoff scoring except one, I believe. I can't remember the exact, but he's a very key guy to have on their team.
He's looking pretty good. I can't flame the Oilers or the Panthers that much. They also looked fantastic. Obviously, I don't know. Honestly, either way this
I mean, if you
this
do-
series goes, I'm going to be kind of happy.
You do look at the game though, and you can almost kind of be like, did Edmonton outplay them? It's 32 shots to 18. Kind of.
I would say so.
I think
but-
so, yeah. I think Edmonton outplayed them.
And
I think-
I think if Skinner didn't pull a Markstrom, I think it would have been a very different game overall. Like you immediately
Oh yeah,
give
if
up
you
momentum.
saved that first shot,
They had so
Who
much momentum,
knows?
like that. That first shot wasn't until like 3 or 4 minutes into the game,
And Florida,
right? Because Oilers put on like 4 before that first shot was even
Yeah.
close, and then it went in, and like
Took some
Oilers
life
had the
out of it.
momentum going, and the Markstrom vibe kind of
so
bit him.
ironically, the 3 topics we talked on our last show, with yours being Darnell Nurse and defense, yours being goaltending, mine being like toughness and grit, they all played. Ironically, we were good, made good analytic points.
I think they played a pretty tough and
but I
gritty
was just,
game.
yeah, I was going to touch on the fact that Florida had 57 hits.
Yeah.
They threw some leading.
And Edmonton stuck with it the whole
Sam Bennett
time.
threw 11 hits, by the way. That's a career high.
him along with Barkov were in McDavid's pocket.
Yeah, so
the entire
Bennett
game.
had 11 hits. Kachuk had 5. Defense, Mikkola and Ekman Larson had 4
Each.
each. And also Ekman Larson got into it with Janmark there after his breakaway.
Yeah,
But it's just-
there was a little bit of fun business, but I think maybe they only listened to Marek because they played a gritty game.
And they made
the
sure
Oilers just need to start listening to me and Alex a little bit more.
And I saw this on the.
I think that's what
I
it is.
saw this when I was watching the game with my family. I heard the announcers be like, after one of the very first, because it was a long break between a whistle besides the goal.
Right.
But after one of the whistles, Florida went after everybody, and the commentator, I don't know who they were. Unfortunately, I can't remember their name off the top of my head.
Sportsnet?
Yeah,
That would have been Chris Cuthbert and Craig Simpson.
them.
Guy's got it dialed.
Florida's had those like mosh pit, like after whistles, every series.
Yeah.
Especially against the Rangers in Boston. When can you see?
I guess.
When have you seen that with Edmonton? They didn't do it against LA.
Nope.
They rarely did it against Vancouver, and
A little bit against Dallas.
But
they didn't need to against LA though. Like I think
No,
they
yeah.
kind of knew they had LA.
No, LA
in the
was
pocket.
But like, they fell right into Florida's like mind games of I'm going like Sam Bennett his entire going to this game goes I'm going to hit everything.
Yeah.
And 11 hits is
That is a ridiculous amount of hits.
He just
It
wants
is.
to hit every. Oh yeah. Also on I believe it was off after there was the Nurse mistake that Sam Bennett chucked the puck in on a dump and chase, beat 3 guys to the puck including Nurse, and then passed to Rodriguez. I believe. I think that was what happened. Yeah, I think it is because. So, obviously, it's a podcast, so and there's an ad. Well, that's unfortunate.
Horrible listening.
So, but yeah, like he beats 3 guys, including Nurse, and then ends up like dishing it out to Rodriguez, who scores. Thus, that's how do you beat? So he dumps it in from the blue line, beats 3 guys to the puck, and then launches it to Evan Rodriguez in the slot. How do you beat? That's 2-on-1 against the puck. So you have to, if you're Edmonton, you got to be tough on the puck. And then Nurse, you can't be in that corner of. You got to be high slot covering Rodriguez in that situation. And obviously you didn't. And then that Sam Bennett single effort, basically put the game away. It was just the Calgary boys, the 2 Calgary boys, so Tkachuk and Bennett were just they wanted to play. And also Edmonton's
In Florida, no.
Edmonton's 0-5 in the past 5 games against Florida, regular season and playoffs included.
Did you want to say something? You seem like you were just kind of waiting.
No, I'm chilling.
Okay, you're pointing at your laptop for a bit, so I feel like you want to get in here for a second.
If I did, I forgot what it is.
Fair enough.
Actually, no, I remember what I was going to say, and it's a stupid little thing. Why does my ad blocker not work on the NHL.com website? I have an ad blocker.
I mean, you talk about revenue.
Yeah, but I don't want them to take it from me. Take it from someone
Yeah,
else.
but not my money.
Yeah, someone who has money.
So I think, well, you guys have predictions for Game 2? Because that's the only game that we'll have to cover when we come back.
I'm in another situation where I think whatever I say is not going to happen.
Both teams said they got to come out tougher.
You know what's funny is this show is actually really good at jinxing. Because,
We are really good at
because I
jinxing.
said Pittsburgh needs to start winning, and then they started winning at the end of the season. And I said Calgary's not going to win these few games, and then they won those few. It's weird.
I mean, I nailed that 3-1 or whatever.
There's been a couple, but I mean, when you have 6 people making predictions, one of them's bound to work.
Yeah.
Alex, what do you think? Game 2 tomorrow.
So it ultimately
Florida.
boils down to do I have more faith in Edmonton bouncing back, or do I have more faith in Florida putting on more pressure? I have more faith in Florida putting on more pressure. Well, okay. If Knobloch doesn't fix the, I almost said Riley Cece, Nurse Cece pairing, Florida's gonna poke at that.
That's what I was going to say.
Florida's gonna poke at that thing like an open wound.
If that pairing is back together in Game 2, if you're Skinner and every time they're on the ice you're like, oh boy.
Do you think I mean, this is such an obvious problem that we're talking about it. Obviously, we do know quite a bit about hockey, but we're not professionals. We're trying
Not
to be,
yet.
but we're not professionals.
Knock. Thank you.
If they don't make that change, like what's the reason behind keeping it? Why wouldn't you make that change immediately? Why didn't you make that change 6 games ago when you knew Nurse was a problem?
Because also looking at, so obviously you're not going to change your Ekholm and Bouchard line. That's your perfect pair. But you as I pointed out earlier.
Yeah, what's your alternative?
As I pointed out earlier,
Bench Nurse?
Nurse Kulak?
Broberg and
Nurse.
Kulak,
They're even.
They're even. So you have to split them up, unfortunately.
Yeah, I mean,
I know you're not going to bump Nurse to the 3rd line, but he makes a stupid amount of money. So, yeah, I think it's going to boil down to, I'm going to say, Skinner, you didn't play bad. It's just unfortunate you have a guy making $9 million, And one of my buddies pointing this out was during the trade deadline when they had this defensive core. Why did they go for Henrique and why did they not go for like a Bowen Byram or a defenseman? I was like, he pointed that out to me today.
The Byram trade was fairly big, though.
True, but like, why not pick up a defenseman?
But like, I'm looking at, and maybe I don't understand fully how they run their websites. I'm looking at this role of defenseman on this website. Why not?
Daily Faceoff?
No, it's
just
the NHL
actual
website.
Oh.
It's a
Like Desharnais,
but you're not.
Oh, Desharnais.
Yeah, but Broberg replaced Desharnais, and Broberg's been played very well for them.
You just so happen one of them
You
replaced
don't,
Nurse.
you don't
You're
scratch
not,
Nurse.
You're not.
Why not?
Because you're paying
He's
him
minus
9.5.
15.
He's also
you're
an
paying him
assistant
9.5.
captain.
We benched. I guess that was just for one period.
We
but
bench him when it's scratcher without ever.
It's a bit different.
That's a different
especially
thing.
if he's an A. Like that'd be the equivalent of like
oh my
bench.
God, he's got an A.
Oh yeah.
That'd be like.
What are they doing in
what's
Edmonton? And we're
what's
the
another
crazy
team
ones?
comparison of scratching a defenseman that has a letter?
But he sucks.
Hedman.
But he's not good.
Petrangelo.
You could argue Letang.
Like, sure, there's pomp and circumstance around him, but if you're not playing good, you're in the Stanley Cup Finals. Put someone else in. He gets paid that for regular season. He's already got his paycheck. You're not going to stop that. Put someone else in. See if it works. You're playing the Florida Panthers to try and get Canada their first Stanley Cup in the past 30-something years.
94.
30, exactly 30 years then. No?
No, I'm checking.
Yeah. Come on.
I thought it was 93. But
Do something about
93.
it.
93.
Okay,
Boosh.
31 years.
Yeah.
Do something.
Even worse.
Who cares about the 5.5 million? That's already in his bank account. 9.5 million. It's already in his bank account.
It's kicking in next season.
Okay.
So he
my
makes
bad.
5 now, then he makes 9.
So it doesn't even matter.
Well, it's going to matter because it's going to hurt a lot more next season.
But benching him for one game doesn't change the fact that you're giving him that money.
If you're looking at this
But
from
it
money,
might get you a chance at a
if you're
Stanley
looking
Cup.
at this from a monetary perspective, let's look at. So you have McDavid, one of the highest get paid.
Yeah.
You're now going to have to sign Draisaitl, who at base minimum it's been reported he wants 13. Okay, guess who's next? Your best defenseman in Bouchard, and he wants a minimum of 8. Are you low key? I'm not comparing them to the Leafs because the Leafs are a whole different. Are
Yep.
you not like a 4-man roster?
It is a kind of similar situation.
Look what Bergeron did the year Boston was insane. He played for $1 million. Obviously,
I would do a lot of things for
I
$1
would
million.
love $1 million.
Does Bouchard deserve 8?
He's like set a bunch of.
Oh, he's right-handed. Never mind. I'll shut up.
Yeah, but like, you can't win with 4 people. You got to look at people who've taken cuts and stuff to help their team be good. There's a reason teams with 4 players that last a long time are constantly good. And you're gonna both be mad at me, but like Pittsburgh, Crosby's been paid 8.7 for the past 10 years. And how many times in the past 10 years have Pittsburgh not made the playoffs?
Womp
Twice.
womp. Oh,
And how many
poor
times have
guy.
they won the cup in that 10 years?
Poor guy. He's
Twice.
only making $8.7 million
I mean,
a year.
I
Poor
mean,
guy.
Yeah,
part of that-
Oh, I feel so
Yeah.
bad for him.
I mean, if he wants to give me 8.7,
Part of that
personally,
is-
I would
I'll
do
sign a rookie
so many
contract
things
right now.
for $8.7 million.
Part of
I
that
will
is
do a lot
LOL.
of
That's my
things.
jersey number.
We're
Like,
not getting into this again. We should probably move
but
on.
I mean,
as
like,
well.
but that is part of that though. Is like, lol. That's my jersey number.
Hey, the lights went on again.
That's okay. I got it.
Lights
Yeah.
out part 3.
Wait, did the camera go out?
No, it's still on.
No,
It's just-
camera's still going.
So
no,
anyways,
that's why we shouldn't turn on the lights until.
I only
like,
turned them on like 5 minutes before we went live.
Uh-huh.
all right.
So if they'd gone out, it would just go out in 5 minutes.
So with the lights off, I'll move from Edmonton. So
Wait, I never made my prediction. I kind of sidetracked us. Oh, whoa!
Oh.
Holy shit! Oh, sorry.
Buddy.
1.
That scared
Why?
me. Okay, it scared me. It was red.
All right. So with
Okay, my
Alex trying to
prediction is
fix.
the Oilers win in Game 2.
All right. So with
Did I?
Alex.
Yeah, we didn't really say.
Oh my
one.
goodness.
You said yours.
Okay, let's move on because we're trying to do this.
Yeah, we are half an hour in now.
With talks about money, obviously names of players are coming up. What's interesting about names is the Utah hockey
Yes.
team needs a team name. I'm really good with these right now. I'm on a roll.
I'm sad that mine got snubbed. Mine was obviously
The Squall.
the Utah Squall, which is niche, and I admit it's niche, but I still think
So
it's a great
the
name.
6 nominees that have made it to this part so far is the Utah Blizzard, the Utah Hockey Club, the Utah Mammoth, Utah Outlaws, Utah Venom, and Utah Yeti.
I don't
know if I want to say Utah anymore.
If it comes out with the Utah Hockey Club, I'm going to kill someone.
Yeah.
I don't. How is that a finalist? Like,
What's
in
the-
what
what's the
world
football
is that
team?
a competitive name?
It's now the Washington Commanders, right, for
yeah.
football?
Yep.
I got used to football team, but that makes sense. Because like if you look at English football, it'll be like this team's football club, FC. Like Man United.
Yeah, but they
FC,
also have a name,
right?
Like
But,
you got
it's-
Whitecaps
exactly.
FC.
You can't just go Utah HC.
Also, it's also in those leagues, other people do that.
Exactly.
No one else
No
does
one has
that
done
in
that,
the
yeah.
NHL. If you want to be competitive, if you want to show yourself, like obviously Utah has already proven that they're going to do well. They have more than, at least from what I read, more than the capacity that they can take in of people on the wait list for season tickets. Like they have like 30,000 people on the wait list for these season tickets. Obviously, you're not going to sell 30,000 season tickets. That's your whole arena.
But yeah.
You name it Utah HC, you're stuck. You're going to be stuck with a lame logo, and you're not going to have anything.
But do you remember his point that he made earlier about it?
I made a point earlier.
Like shows ago.
What's that?
Was that it's money. You're gonna get a bunch
The
of
double
money on
jersey
a
buys, I
hockey
guess.
team, and then they change. Let's say they go Venom. I don't know if they will or not, regardless. But now you've then made money off the just no team. Now you're making money off the Venom.
I think if that was their goal, they wouldn't have announced that there was 5 other names in contention. If that was their goal, they would have just said, "Yeah, we're going to be the HC for a season," which is stupid.
They
idea.
did say that.
I hate how we have to do this though. It's so sad, this whole Arizona to Utah like debacle situation. It's really upsetting.
I mean, if they're going to do it, they might as well do it right. Again, like I said in another show that we made a great TikTok out of, you have so much resources. You have
do.
all the resources you could possibly need to do this. In what world can't you do this?
Get a team ready before, or in this short amount of time.
I could order my own Utah. I could order probably 20 of my own Utah Blizzard, Mammoth, Outlaw, Venom, or Utah jerseys, and they'd be here before the start of the season.
You just don't
It
have
would
the
cost me maybe $1,000.
No, it'd be considerably more.
Yeah.
Well, just for like a jersey like this.
Yep.
You're going,
it's 24,
you're going
yeah.
base minimum because then they're gonna have they'll have the ad patches. Then you'll need alternates. Then you'll need away and home. A bare minimum away home.
Because
Bare minimum.
what do we think it would cost to get that done?
A lot.
Quite a bit.
Half a mil?
No, you need
No,
$1 million?
absolutely not. I've seen a half mil. Probably a few thousand.
That is nothing to these people. That is nothing.
But there's also how long do you have to deliberate over what the jersey looks like? How long do you have to decide on what the jersey, I see jersey logo just now.
I'll tell you how long. You got 4 months. That's how long you got.
With a new uniform supplier?
Fanatics.
They can do
You've already
it.
been given a
Are
supplier.
you kidding me?
If it was,
How much did this one guy, the owner, how much did he pay for this team?
A lot.
I know we said it, I can't remember the exact number.
Number.
I think it was $1 billion flat.
My guy, if you've got $1 billion to
think
do
of it
that,
like-
I'm sure you have at least $200,000 to get this done.
If they were serious about already having the name, this would be done. This whole this is the top 6 teams and you get to vote. They would have done this 2 months ago.
They should. That's what I'm saying. Is they should have. Literally nothing is stopping them. I don't get it. Why would, other than the double buy thing, which I do understand. I hate that. I hate it.
Yeah.
Just pick a name, have an identity, and dive into it. Don't dance around it. You have the resources. Just do it.
What names do we like out of those? I'm not going to count Hockey Club, but what names do you like out of those 5?
Yeti.
I like Blizzard and I like Yeti.
But it has to be.
I like Blizzard and I like Yeti
It
as
has
well.
to be Yetis.
No, it doesn't.
Yes,
No,
it does.
No,
I
it doesn't.
disagree. The
Yes, it
only
does.
reason I will say the only reason
Because think of how stupid other names, like other teams, the Calgary Flame, the Philadelphia
The
Flyers.
Seattle Kraken.
That's okay. Detroit
the
Red Wings.
Minnesota Wild.
Yeah,
Minnesota
you're just
Wild.
naming teams that are already without S. The Pittsburgh Penguin.
Yeah. So
Montreal Canadiens.
How many Yetis exist in the world, Marek?
So without the S, it's
How
not
many
a
Kraken
problem.
exist in the world? How many Wild exist in the world?
Without the S, it's not a problem.
Yeah, those are the ones without the S's. The ones that exist have the S's.
I know, but I'm saying
If every other NHL team had an S in their name,
Say
then I'd be
Yeti.
like, you know what? Sure, maybe you have a point.
say Utah Yeti and then Yetis.
Utah
I like Yeti.
I like Yetis. I mean that's
I
a
disagree.
TikTok right there.
The only reason I say that I'm against Utah Mammoth is because of the NLL, who have a mammoth already.
We've touched this before, sick jerseys.
We have touched it. They have sick jerseys. Obviously, there are a couple duplicates around all the major leagues in the U.S., but I think
Jets.
When you're looking at hockey and you want to compare it to someone, you also don't want to kind of stomp on one of the up-and-coming leagues. Because I think the NLL is a very big up-and-coming league.
Oh, yeah.
Which is super exciting. I love it. But I would say Blizzard or Yeti.
So
also, Blizzard doesn't have an S. Get out of here.
I like Blizzard. Blizzard. That name sounds fine.
I just like Blizzard and Yeti.
Blizzards is plural. There's multiple Blizzards, but there's one Yeti.
I just like Blizzard and Yeti for the marketing possibilities. DQ with Blizzard and the Yeti.
They would also, like, if they did it right.
You could go bug repellent for Venom, or have a snake logo.
Venom, you could open up marketing opportunities
or
in
Marvel.
DC as well.
You can go Marvel.
Marvel.
The whole character.
Is Venom Marvel?
Yeah.
Venom is Marvel.
Did you say Venom is DC?
Yeah.
Really dropped the ball on that one. So in other words,
Mammoth,
I'm
Ice
silly.
Age.
I'm tired. We've been over this. Anyway.
So in other words, he dropped the ball. There was another ball that have left Calgary.
Oh, he is on a roll
Look
today.
at
I'll
that.
give him that one.
Okay, so I guess that's moving up in the order now.
Yeah, I kind of lost track of the order. I don't have the photo up on my...
I have it up.
I will give him that one.
I had a segue going into our next topic, but I guess you kind of...
Dude, I'm on a roll right now.
I know, but...
You got to let me cook
How
here.
dare you. So, longtime Flames play-by-play commentator Rick Ball is leaving for, let's say, greener pastures in Chicago.
I disagree.
And later in the day after it was announced, Flames Nation put out a compilation of all of his good calls, and I wanted to cry. I almost did. And they also put out an article of 8 people who could replace him.
Oh, I didn't see that.
Do you want to pull it up?
Are there any good ones?
Yes, there were a couple. There were a couple I disagree with. There are a couple that I do agree with.
And
Unfortunately, it does not have any.
Flames.
Unfortunately, it does not have any of our names on it.
Yeah, none of us are there.
Hey, not yet.
They're saying, why couldn't it have been like
Knock.
3 years later?
Thank you. We're superstitious here sometimes.
I'll only stick to the ones.
2 year hockey players. I'm not surprised.
I'll only stick to the ones in town because Flames Nation did put out one for kind of outside Calgary.
Ooh,
Is Emily Kaplan an option?
Emily Kaplan isn't.
Okay, good.
Oh, what's his name?
No offense.
Keep going.
Okay, so local broadcasters at Flames Nation pointed out for this article. Again, just sticking with
Brad
local
Curl?
ones.
Is Brad Curl on there?
Derek Wills,
Okay.
Ryan Singh,
Ooh, I would like that. He's an Oilers guy, though.
Brad Curl,
Yes! Oh, my vote's for Brad Curl. Let's go.
Sandra Prusina, Peter Labardius.
Brad Curl. Brad Curl gets my vote every day of the week.
Derek Wills, he's with Sportsnet 960, so he does the radio calling for Flames games.
Okay.
Oh, okay, that makes sense that they took Brad Curl. He was the hit.
Yeah, he's the Hitman guy.
Ryan Singh.
That's why I'm excited.
Ryan Singh I don't like because he's an Oilers guy.
I don't think that's why I don't think he would do it.
I don't
look
want
at Doc Emmerich. He's gone through like a bunch of teams.
Have you read Hunter Ryan's
book
biography?
No.
Autobiography? Yeah.
Why?
He's an Edmonton guy.
He is the as Edmonton guy as it gets.
Rick Ball is just now. Oh yeah. Also, did you mention where he went?
Chicago.
Okay, I wasn't sure.
Yeah. Brad Curl. Long-time play voice for the Calgary Hitmen.
He gave me the tour of the Saddle Dome.
Hired by Ken King in 2005.
Ooh.
Sandra Prusina is the voice for the Calgary Wranglers on NHL TV. And Sportsnet 960, and then Peter Labardius also intertwined with the Flames and Sportsnet 960 as well.
I like.
Picks. You know what? Brad Curl. Brad Curl or Sandra Prusina.
Brad Curl. Oh, he deserves it because I think it'd be a lot easier for me to get a Hitman job than a Flames job.
Because Peter Labardius and Derek Wills, I think, are just too good on 960 to move.
Man, obviously we're in the house that Harner Ryan built. We love Harner Ryan saying
he's an Edmonton
but he's
guy.
an Edmonton guy, and I don't. Maybe I'm completely wrong. I don't think he'd want to leave Edmonton to come to Calgary.
No,
especially
I don't think so.
Edmonton are in the Stanley Cup Finals. I don't think especially right now. I'm saying he's staying in Edmonton. I don't think he's coming.
I mean, he's the host.
Curl. Yeah.
He's the host of Flames TV Punjabi. So.
Oh, I didn't know that.
My old grade 9 teacher was one of the Punjabi Commentators.
Oh, that's pretty sweet.
Cool.
Shout out Mr. Kumo.
But yeah, he's done far too many Edmonton games for me to want to consider him.
Yeah.
I think Brad Curl would be
And also,
great.
every time Harner Ryan does a Calgary game, people get mad at him for dumb reasons that I think would bring out bad bits of our city.
Oh, yeah.
Already get a lot of attention that they don't deserve.
So
my vote's for Brad Curl because I love him. He is the most genuine human being. He was so excited that I wanted to come and hang out with him because I got to do he gave me a tour of the Saddledome. He showed me like the mixing room, and then we got to go up in the press level. I
saw the Edmonton mixing room once.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
When you got
probably much more.
when you got
I
a
went
tour
into
of
Wayne
the
Gretzky's office. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wayne, you got some nice M&Ms.
Have you ever? I think have you been there, like up in the actual rafters?
Yeah.
Oh man, have you been up those?
Yeah.
Whew. Scary.
So
It's a shame that the next arena is not going to have
with
that.
Rick Ball
they
leaving
should keep him
Calgary
just for fun.
to Chicago, another person that likes leaving Canada behind, Gary Bettman.
Oh, guys
You're
on a roll.
ruining our
He's
lineup.
just stealing you.
You're ruining our lineup.
Just stealing
Lineup's
it from
kinda
you.
Because we had things to. Okay, fine. Let's go to the Gary Bettman presser. So before game one, Gary
we
Bettman.
just kind of switched Ball and Bettman.
Yeah, but there's also stuff under the ball that we were going to
I'm making
intertwine
sure
with that too.
I'm making sure
we
you
were?
have a
Oh,
lot
okay.
for that one because you were very passionate when you brought it.
There is one part that I want to get to, but first let's get to the Bettman press conference.
And let me do the handoff again for that one.
Sure.
He's got
Why
it dialed
not?
today.
I'm on a roll.
Yeah.
Marek's dialed today.
So, with the Gary Bettman presser, first he came out with a prepared statement. I'm just pulling up my notes here because it was fairly extensive.
Can I go with the first one? The one that I know off the top of my head?
What's that?
The TV show. Some of the players announced for a.
Oh, they announced him.
Yeah.
So
that's cool.
They didn't. So it was announced. It wasn't announced at the presser. It was announced in an article written by Luke Fox on Sportsnet a couple
it was kind
days
of
ago.
reiterated by Bettman though. Afterwards, kind of.
So let's start with the documentary. The NHL and Amazon have partnered up with Box to Box, which is a production company which made F1's Drive to Survive and Golf's Full Swing documentaries.
Which also could be called Drive to Survive.
Which also could be. I was thinking about that earlier.
That's a good
So
one.
the doc is coming to Amazon
We're on a
Prime
roll
in
today.
October.
Sweet.
That's cool.
The crew has been following these various players since the All-Star break.
So it's not like next season.
It's going on right now.
That's cool.
There's one name in there that I'm very happy they did for a completely different reason.
So I don't know the names. I haven't seen this.
So Jacob Trouba is on the list.
Mr. Elba,
Okay.
Captain Elba.
David Pasternak and Jeremy Swayman.
Makes sense.
Those would be good.
Quinn Hughes.
I like it.
I'm waiting for you to say this one. Play.
Jack Eichel.
Good.
Makes sense.
Willie Nylander. Which I
Okay.
think would be pretty cool because there was a trailer that the NHL posted to their Twitter account, and it shows Willie like in his house watching the series.
Oh.
Yeah. So like when he's not playing, it shows him like saying
Oh.
like kind of like cheering on from his couch.
Oh,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
Which is
before
pretty
game
cool.
3. Oh, that is
Yeah.
kind of cool.
Philip Forsberg.
That one I'm interested in.
Why?
It's just not. He's not a big name player. You don't.
I wouldn't say
you're
he's-
comparing Philip Forsberg to
Nylander
Nylander,
and Eichel.
Swayman, Pasternak.
Eichel.
I'm
I'm-
interested, and he's also Swedish.
I'm interested in the next guy, Gabriel Landeskog,
That's the player.
because he hasn't played.
He is,
Yes,
in 2
that's a-
years.
that-
he has
that'll be
not
cool.
played. He is the embodiment of that. That is what the long-term injury reserve is used for properly.
Cry.
He went all. Well, they were eliminated, so I could care less now.
Womp womp.
He put everything on the line to win that cup with Colorado, and he won it.
And then he
then-
sank like a rock.
Doesn't matter. He still won the cup.
Yep, he has a ring.
Yeah, exactly. So.
That's
That
actually
one's-
quite interesting.
'Cause I've heard there was rumors that if Colorado had made it far, there was a chance Landeskog would be back.
Two other players that weren't noted in Luke Fox's article, but I noticed were in the trailer for the documentary. Matthew Tkachuk,
Cool.
Leon Draisaitl.
Those are going to be
Interesting.
good because their teams both have gone very far.
Those are gonna be exciting.
Because you're going from a Canadian team that has to battle through those teams, and then a team who's just trying to get rid of the pain that they had last season.
You also,
Are Draisaitl and McDavid like buddies? Like off the ice? Do they hang
I'd
out?
imagine so.
Like, so that'll be cool.
But there's also, I mentioned Willie's on there. David Pasternak scored the overtime winner.
Yeah. And I'm
In-
also
in Game
sure
7.
with Nylander.
Nylander.
You're Nylander.
Just 6-1.
You're gonna get Matthews content. You're going to get Marner content.
Oh, I imagine with Quinn Hughes, you're going to get Jack and Luke.
That's
too.
what I also with Swayman. You're gonna get Omar.
Yeah.
That's what I.
There's
really
just there's just so many like
I love that.
surrounding players that you can get a lot of.
I love the couple of just Swayman and Omar.
So that was talked about during the press conference. That documentary once again coming to Amazon in October. And then now I'm just
On
going to
what
switch
platforms?
I'm surprised.
What?
Do you know what platform? Or
On Amazon.
Oh, okay, man, I missed that part.
Amazon Prime.
Yeah, my mom has that.
Like Optimus, but owned
I've said
by
that
Jeff
4
Bezos.
times.
Optimus,
Hey,
but owned by Jeff Bezos.
hey,
I'm surprised
Amazon Prime.
Zegras ain't on there.
I'm thank God.
I don't know.
Like his
he's a
girlfriend is more
very
relevant than him now.
Exactly. He's a very what's his name? Taper Grace.
Cole Sillinger.
Cole Sillinger.
Sillinger.
If they did it on Cole Sillinger, now would be a great time to be following Cole Sillinger's life. It'd be very
No,
interesting.
because he probably just doesn't care. He honestly really doesn't care.
He
dated her. They broke. I think he broke up with her. I think.
I mean, he
Could be
cheated
wrong,
on her,
yeah.
I think was the rumor, but yeah.
Whatever. They broke up, and I'm sure he's just like they're living onto the past, and
Yeah.
he's moved on.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's true.
Because like
Like it's not big if he doesn't care.
Kid Leroy
that's
made a
true.
whole song about it, and he's like, everyone's asked him questions. He's just like,
Cool.
like
Neat.
yeah, my name's out there. Cool.
Kid Leroy's performed
Performed.
last night.
DJ Khaled for Game
DJ
2.
Khaled on Game 2.
Oh boy.
So going in chronological order now for the Bettman presser. Marty Walsh talked about the Four Nations tournament coming up next February. He said the first 6 players from all teams will be announced on June 28th.
I'm really looking forward to that.
So we'll have a show.
Who do you think those?
We'll have a
from
show
Canada?
2 days after.
Who do you think those 6 players would be from Canada?
We do not have the time to.
If you're having a
one.
Four Nations,
Name one player you think that's not all. We're not all going to agree with. Like not the McDavid's obviously going to be one.
McKinnon's on there.
Crosby?
Banner.
oh,
No.
bummer.
No, I don't.
I think Banner's on there.
No.
I think he's on there.
There's so many
Is
better
Eichel
Canadian
Canadian?
goalies.
Eichel's American.
Is he
Who is?
American? Eichel?
Jack Eichel.
Yeah, he's American.
Okay, I would say
I
he's going to
told-
be on Team America.
Dude,
I think Banner's on there.
no.
Can I open a little bit up? I know we don't have a ton of time left.
Sure.
If you're having a Four Nations, why not just have another World Championship? Like why? I don't fully
especially
understand why only have 4 when the World Championship only has 8 anyway.
Especially
So-
when Czechia just won
So-
against the
Yeah,
Swiss.
Czechia just won
That-
the whole
that
thing.
is-
none of those
They
4
don't even
teams-
get to come.
That is something I'm getting to. That is something that
really
he
good
was
at-
asked about.
We're really good.
Okay.
It's about why is left to Four Nations.
Maybe we should.
Damn, I
ask
should be
Bettman.
an NHL
Bettman, come on the
press
show.
guy.
But again, just continuing chronologically from the 6 players that Walsh mentioned, going to Bettman's prepared statement, there was an all-time record for total attendance in a single season this season.
Cool.
23. Quoting Bettman, it was approaching 23 million, and sitting at 97% capacity.
Wow.
It was the most watched in North America since 2015-2016. Cable in the US, it was the most watched on cable in the USA in the last 30 years.
That's pretty sweet.
Through the first 3 rounds of the playoffs, it was the most watched playoffs in the USA since 1996.
I'm probably just because of the Leafs, Boston. Like honestly,
Also probably with TNT probably picking up a deal there as well.
and the Shaq Hyman, that whole funny.
And averaging nearly 4 million viewers per game in the playoffs.
Whoa. That's pretty sweet.
And then he got
The
into
NHL's growing for once.
And then he got into the documentary stuff, which you already touched on. He talked about the cap next year. The cap floor is 65 mil, and the
What?
cap ceiling is 88 mil.
Right. That was It's raised from 85. The cap ceiling is raised from 85
To 88. Yep.
Sweet. So one guy can make $3 million more because that's what's going to happen, I think.
Doesn't matter. That
Depends
one
how
guy could win you the cup.
Depends how
final.
they spend it, because
No, they
Utah is currently sitting at 45 mil in cap space. So we'll see how that
They're gonna
plays
Used
out.
to Utah.
Gensel to Utah.
And then the
Matthews
transition
to Utah.
from prepared statements to questions came. First question that I wanted to make note of: no news on any expansion processes.
Honolulu.
Half a dozen places expressed interest, but there's no news on any kind of ground being made.
Honolulu train.
The first Four Nations thing was mentioned. No Czechia in the Four Nations. Bettman said that he wanted is basically replacing the All-Star break, I believe.
Yeah.
So he wants all 4 countries to have exclusively NHL players on them.
Oh.
Until
he wants to make
it's gonna
more
be
money.
It's gonna be good
instead of
until,
giving
like,
us an actual competition
thing-
that matters.
It's gonna be good until watch McDavid get hurt. Okay, now Edmonton's they're going let's say
Yeah.
Edmonton's now doing really good in the regular season. They do this tournament. McDavid gets injured.
Well, LTIR space. That's like 13-12 mil.
I can never escape.
But
Canada.
obviously
that's just like 13 million. Yeah, that's a lot of million.
So he wants all NHL players, which nixes Czechia, which nixes Germany.
That's so dumb.
The next question that I made a note of is another Four Nations question. The reporter said there's a potential for the Hart winner to be Russian. There's a potential for the Conn Smythe winner to be Russian. And they're not included in the Four Nations Cup.
What do you mean? Like just the NHL accolade is able to go to a Russian player?
Yep.
Isn't
there's
a
a Russian in the Hart conversation. There's a Russian in the Conn Smythe conversation.
Yeah.
Shesterkin and Kucherov in this perspective?
Shesterkin.
Is he not?
Conn Smythe.
Bobrovsky.
Oh, I'm silly. Yeah.
And to quote Bettman, there's only so much we can do under the existing circumstances as we see them.
You can't control. There's a war.
I mean, it's not like they're going to play the anthem when they announce
Yeah,
those.
but at the Olympics, they compete under Olympic athlete from Russia. You can't really do NHL player from Russia. Just sounds weird.
But they don't say NHL player. They don't say Canadian Nathan McKinnon when he won whatever. Like they're not going to do
yeah,
that.
but it's a spotlight on that country, though, is more what I'm saying.
I don't think it is.
They advertise it way more in Russia because of current events. They won't really advertise as much as the States.
I don't. I think that's a pretty non-issue. For the same point that people like when someone says they're not cheering for Edmonton because they don't care that it's the last Canadian team. Like, it is a club championship. It's not a national thing.
It's an
even though they
accolade.
still play the anthems. Like,
Yep.
like I get it, but
You have
you
have Canadian players on American teams.
yeah, exactly. They're still not going to be able to go to World Championships. They're not. I mean, I don't know what the ruling is on the 2026 Olympics. I don't know if the IOC has announced that yet, but I don't know.
Oh.
I think that's a pretty non-issue.
Also, I found out, just deviating from the press real quick, I also found out that I mentioned this in the group chat, no Makar, no Jordan Kyrou for Team Canada at the Four Nations.
Biddington.
He wasn't
what's
part
the
of that.
point?
He wasn't part of the team. Because
McDavid, McKinnon, Morrissey,
and the reason Makar and Kyrou can't show up is because of the 2018 World Junior scandal.
So let
that is still
Czechia
being
do it. Let
investigated.
Czechia come.
I don't think they have enough NHL players.
Pasternak.
You name
Oh,
one.
it's so silly.
Jan
I'm literally just the messenger here.
Yeah, I know.
I just telling you what has been said.
I would be surprised if Jaromir Jagr's like, alrighty, here's the skates, and here we go.
I mean, obviously it's money. Bettman loves his money. I think it's dumb. I think if you're going to have, especially when you have this kind of a tournament that does not include the reigning world champions.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, I get it.
I think
I get it. I do.
they should make it a 5,
6.
8 world championship of hockey. Just do that.
Yeah.
Just do
I
that.
don't think you need.
That's way more fun.
I think exclusively NHL is a bit.
Yeah.
And then if you
Yeah.
make it, like, just figure out the timing so that you could have the World Cup of Hockey or World Championship of Hockey, and then the NHL players actually want to go. Make the NHL players go. There's your solution.
It also
Bettman.
could have been-
Stop letting the guys say they don't want to represent their country.
It also could have been awesome for, like, if we wanted to expand to like 6 or 8 teams. It also could have been a really cool opportunity for prospects to come up. Like, there's probably a couple Czech prospects in the A.
Oh yeah.
Easily.
Yeah, so that would be really cool, but again, we only have like very little time left for the amount of ground I want to cover. A question was asked about Fanatics. The point was made that the manufacturer that made the Adidas jerseys is still the same manufacturer. So the quality is not being sacrificed. It's just different branding. It's probably it might be different materials. I don't know, but. The point is made that.
But if it's different materials, it's a different product.
Yeah, but the place that manufactured the Adidas jerseys they're not changing the manufacturer. They're just changing the supplier or the maker, I guess.
So it's a different SKU. Like, it's a different SKU number. So which it's a different product.
Yeah. Also, Bettman said that teams and players have sampled the jerseys, and to quote him, they were more than pleased.
I mean, they are doing
but
better
then you look
than
at
the
baseball
NBA.
and Fanatics.
Or MLB.
And
is what I meant.
they're
Those are terrible.
Yeah.
Those are
So
bad.
Zach, again, I'm only telling you what he has said.
Well, we're getting mad at you for it, Alex.
We're getting. I at least have confidence in that.
So, on the topic of getting mad and controversy, let's head to the PWHL.
I'm not done yet.
He's not done yet.
We
Let
have
him
5
finish.
minutes.
I know.
Sure, we
Let
have
me
5
get
minutes,
through
but
this.
whatever.
Spectre, we talked about super late games, like 8 p.m. starts, which means Eastern time zone. It's 10 p.m.
Yeah.
His response was, "We do what we can."
Well, there's also times where like
There's only so much you can do.
People in Eastern time don't have to get to work in the morning. Sucks that you're located where you are.
there's also times where like those teams will play like there was it's a Penguins game, unfortunately, but there was a Dustin
Yeah,
Brown
that's true,
retirement
unfortunately.
ceremony where the game started at 11.
Yep.
I went to bed. The second period ended at midnight, and I was just like, I'm not watching this anymore. Pittsburgh's also losing, but I was like, this is ridiculous. If I finish the entire game, it's 1 a.m. Our time.
Utah is brought up. They talk about the arena where the obstructed view. Bettman said it's a short term and they'll be fixed over the next few off seasons. Initial sales were extraordinarily robust. He said the overall feeling is excited, and to quote Bettman again, better than we could have hoped based on the time frame that they were given.
Yeah.
There's a little bit of back and forth between Bettman and Pierre LeBrun of The Athletic, I want to say, about playoff formats as opposed to switching back to 1 to 8, 2 to 7, and so
Which
on.
a lot of
think it
players have
should
also
be.
expressed interest in.
1 to 8 makes more.
A lot of
way more
players.
sense.
Bill Daly was asked about the LTIR. Not a major competitive issue in the short term. Feedback was largely, the general comment was there's no competitive issue right now. In the long term, they feel like this should be fixed. So this will probably come up in the next CBA. Ben was asked about Stan Bowman and Joe Quenneville coming back to the NHL. He said they're currently not eligible to come back, and both have reached out asking to come back. Obviously, effects from the Chicago Blackhawks scandal from a couple years ago. And last thing I want to touch on from the Bettman presser was the pack schedule, about how quickly it goes from the last day of the finals to the draft to free agency.
Yeah, there's
And
not
how
much
it's a week in between. How it's a week to span all three.
Yeah.
Bettman said it's not a problem from a ratings perspective.
I don't think it is. There's a lot of people doing a lot of things.
Yeah, it's just
A
fairly
week is
tight.
if I had a week specifically focused on one thing, I could get a lot done.
But you're not focused on one thing, you're focused
Yeah,
on
but
multiple things.
if you had that same attitude with your like projects here, maybe you get them done faster.
I do get them done pretty quick.
Get your CHL thing real quick.
Quick little CHL note. We have some results from the NHL Combine, the 2024 Combine. Pretty crazy thing is number one, obviously we know he's going to be the first round draft pick. The San Jose Sharks have come out and said that he's going to be their pick. He is only top 5 in one of the Combine results, and that is the VO2 max test.
And
he
who are
was
we talking?
4th. We also have a couple pretty exciting prospects. We have Tidja Ginla making the top 10 in quite a few things. I'm pretty stoked. Hitman Carson Wetch has made it into the top 10 a couple things. Notable absence from Carter Yakimchuk. I'm not super surprised
Well,
with that.
also-
But one thing that we were kind of interested in before we started taping, we looked back on some of the other combines, and
More
we noticed
specifically on McDavid, McKinnon, fast, big guys.
So we looked at the 2023 Combine, which is obviously Connor Bedard. We looked at Sidney Crosby's 2004 Combine. We looked at the 2013, and we looked at the 2015. The number one draft pick has not statistically done well in the NHL Combine. 2015 NHL Combine, the top guy was it was Zadorov on that one, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, quick test. 2015, who had the longest wingspan?
No clue.
Daniel Vladar.
Oh, that's pretty neat.
Let's go, PWHL.
PWHL. So 8 days after winning the Walter Cup, the PWHL Minnesota team has let go of their GM.
Yes.
So it was worth noting, we're probably not a couple minutes long here, it was worth noting that all teams in the PWHL are league owned.
Yeah.
So the issue came up, apparently head coach Ken Klee and captain Kendall Coyne-Schofield kind of led the charge.
His name is Captain Kettlecorn? What?
Kendall Coyne-Schofield.
Okay. I heard.
It's a great. That's probably her nickname.
Yeah,
in the
Kettle
locker
Corn.
room.
Ken Klee
That's a sweet
and
nickname.
Coyne-Schofield both led the charge in getting her kind of dismissed. The reason is that there was apparently a clash between the GM, by the way, I have not mentioned her, Natalie Darwitz. has been let go. The clash between Klee and Darwitz kind of involved Schofield as well. But the reasons behind the butting of heads between Klee/Coyne and Darwitz, still unknown. But it was noted that since all the PWHL teams are league owned, she was extended an offer to kind of take a job elsewhere. Since the head of the PWHL or the heads of the PWHL ultimately control who goes where, they could have played a hand in, okay, so like this didn't work out here for whatever reason, you can go to X team.
But I
They don't really have time for butts.
I know, but it did work out well. They won the whole thing.
Yeah, they sure did.
I mean,
There's some information that's very underlined that we don't have. That raises some red flags.
the PWHL right here is in a very odd spot going into their off season. They need to do so well because right now we see.
I don't know if they need to. They did really well. They did better than everyone kind of expected to.
Absolutely, but right now we see the WNBA pulling ahead. Just with the Caitlin Clark thing.
Yeah.
So I think the PWHL needs to do as much as they can to compete with that. And right now, Caitlin Clark in the States is a big thing to compete
You're thinking
with.
of it differently, though. The reason WNBA is so big now is because of the way Caitlin Clark is being treated by her
That's not
opponents
true.
and stuff.
No, it was big before that.
True.
It's the other way around.
But
She's
now
being treated poorly because of how big she made
Yes,
the
and
WNBA.
that's where most of the WA information is coming out, is usually between Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark, whereas the PWHL has built this whole structure that even people in the NHL are like, the NHL should be adopting some of their principles.
What if she got a job in the NHL? Maybe that's why she's leaving.
Not
she
out
got
of the question.
promotion.
She played in the NCAA. Did Darwitz. The last thing I wanted to mention about this is that I think this is a bad look for PWHL Minnesota because it looks like the inmates are running the asylum.
It looks like a terrible look. Who fires their
Especially after
Winning.
Walter Cup winning season.
You won the whole thing. Why would you change anything?
I would. The reason I'm kind of like stepping on eggshells around this is because she was offered a job and she was just ultimately let go.
Yeah.
So something must have happened. I don't want to put my foot in my mouth in this case, but
Which we have done a couple
times, but like I feel like if this thing turns bad, I don't really want this episode to look bad either.
Yeah, fair enough. There's a few of them that do.
I think that I don't know. I think that it's regardless of, again, like we don't know anything right now, but it looks horrible that the inmates look like they're running the asylum.
Yeah,
that Ken Klee and Caitlin Coyne Schofield can make a push. That two people can make a push to getting Darwitz dismissed because apparently it came as such a surprise to all the other people on the team as well.
Do you always do your twos like that?
And on that note, Game 2 is tomorrow. Edmonton, Florida, in Florida. We'll see you guys later. I have a shift in about an hour, so.
Alex made some great points. Anyway, shout out to Wagomir Wager for being inducted into the Stanley Puck Hall of Fame. Marek's already out of here.
Someone's got to work at 10 p.m.
Fair enough.
It's 8:30, buddy.
You got an hour and a half.
It's 8:30, buddy.
I live 20 minutes away from here, and then got to go another 20 minutes to Oak Tokes, and then got to go another 20 minutes back. So I do have to.
Okay, we're leaving that in. We'll see you guys on Wednesday.
Enjoy Game 2, everyone. See you guys on Wednesday.